Hi, my name is Megan Gidley and I'm the Director of Marketing with Connect. Welcome back to the Get Connected podcast. I am so excited to bring you Johnny Flores live in Acton, California. Today we're going to be diving into his ranch riding and some of the traditional vaquero techniques that he uses. Let's dive in. All right, Johnny, I am so excited to learn all about ranch riding today. Can you give me a short intro to kind of who you are and how you got into horse training?
Yeah, so when I was little, my family and I just kind of jumped right into it head first. And we were just trail riders, didn't really know a whole lot. And at the time, the equestrian community, we had farriers, ex-ropers, charros, all these different people throwing little tips our way. Eventually, my brother did a Mustang makeover. We started showing in the XCA, still in the smaller side of the show world. And then when I got her as a young horse development horse, I started to really take ranch riding seriously and really start to train in it and showing it. So we've been at it for about 4 years now. And she's done versatility ranch horse, she's done cow horse. I've even taken her to reining lessons too. Just honestly anything at this point. She's quarter horse and she's bred to be great, so may as well just do it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And for those of you watching, make sure you are leaving any questions that you may have in the comment section of this live stream. As soon as this live stream concludes, we are going to be starting another one, which is going to be a Q&A session with Johnny, where he is going to be able to answer your questions on a live. Can you break down what ranch riding is and how you use this to train horses? Also, how you bring ranch riding and training into real world application?
Yeah, so ranch riding is a really interesting discipline because I think that it deviates from a lot of the show circuits and disciplines in that it's trying to preserve the true essence of an American ranch horse, the American quarter horse, and natural movement, functional movement, and really just preserving the functionality of these horses rather than making it a beauty contest or making it over specialized to where the exercises and the preparation are irrelevant to most riders. And I think that's really neat about ranch horses. Any horse can kind of do it. You don't have to have this super amazingly bred, fancy, super talented horse. You can start with any horse and it's an attainable goal. And with ranch riding, because we're trying to preserve the essence of a true ranch horse, we're preserving functionality. So like with the gaits, we want to see that the horse moves in a way that's, conducive to transportation. You're not
Mm-hmm.
bouncing around everywhere. Your horse is actually going somewhere. He's
Mm-hmm.
not staying in the same spot. We also want to see that the horse is functional as a tool to get maneuvers done, right? Going in, hitting a spin like that. Horses that sit there forever and have to hesitate before a spin, they're going to lose the cow every time. You want to see a horse that goes and does it. For roping, you want to see a horse that puts you in the correct position. Basically, how effective and seamless is your horse as a tool to work on a ranch?
That makes sense. So, do you see any major differences in the results of training horses when you use ranch riding as a primary training method?
Yeah, I think that using ranch riding as a primary training method because it's so just about good horsemanship, good free-flowing, natural moving, balanced, efficient, effective horses. I think that it's a very good style for a lot of horses to have. I think it's a wonderful foundation for horses to have because they learn how to measure distances, they learn spatial awareness. They really get broke because of all the ranch trail stuff that we do, all these obstacles here. I mean, they're getting so broke, unlike some horses that stay in their bubbles doing reining or cutting or cow horse, and that's fine and all. But I think that there's a certain element of just sheer brokenness that these
Mm-hmm.
horses get. And also the fact that I think it's a neat way to train them because I think it's somewhat easier on them to work in this more natural, free-flowing, moving kind of way. And I think that fosters a sense of success. And I think it's important to give these horses successes and make them feel happy and confident in what they're doing. So, yeah, I think between the happiness and the sheer brokenness of these horses is unparalleled.
I agree. How often do you take your horses ranch riding, and is there a reason for that number of times a week?
Yeah, so it depends, honestly. You know, if I'm preparing for a show, she's going to work pretty darn exclusively on that. We're not going to be doing cow track or things that are irrelevant if we're preparing for a show. Show prepping, the horses are working as hard as I can get them to work, safely, of course, in preparation for it.
Hmm.
But I honestly, to varying degrees, they're always working on something ranch riding related because, I'll get a lot of colts and those colts need to learn how to move around and take inventory of their feet. Sometimes it feels like you're riding an octopus and you need them to remember they got four legs again. So like working on poles, getting them to actually pick up their feet and look down and know where they're stepping. I do that a lot to get them really broken, getting them to learn to really just collect up naturally and know their own body. Going out on trail, opening and closing fences, roping things just for fun when I'm warming up, because warming up is frankly kind of boring.
Hmm.
All these different things, I don't think there's ever a time in my training where the horses aren't working in some way on something ranch riding related. I think it's really neat how versatile the discipline is, that, you can work on it all the time without it getting old.
That makes sense. So I got a couple questions for you in one.
Mhm.
How long have you been ranch riding? How did you learn about ranch riding, and why did you decide to continue using this training method?
Well, before ranch riding, I was really heavy into EXCA, and that was really my only thing in the show world. I had done a couple Mustang makeovers, but they're not like show careers. You do them one at a time. It's a little bit different. Um, and my horse was slowly kind of getting older, running out of steam, and so I was like, I need to find something that I can do. And for him, he just doing reining, doing cow horse, that was out of the cards. He's a 16-2 Appaloosa with a long back. There's no way in heck he's going to do those things. So we stumbled upon ranch riding during COVID with the virtual shows. West Coast Ranch Horse had put them on, and we started doing them because we're like, this is like attainable. This is
Hmm.
pretty cool. And it's not to say that ranch riding is easy. I don't mean to say that. I just mean to say that it's not so over specialized that, like, you need a certain horse. You can really train these horses for it. And so I did it, and of course, being my first time, I sucked.
Hmm.
But over time, I started to kind of learn more about it, and then I think when I really started getting into it was when she was ready to ride, because I was like, okay, I have a horse that fits the picture of an American ranch horse, American quarter horse. I have that picture finally. So with her, she was kind of my crash test dummy when she was younger, after she was kind of broken sound and had her maneuvers.
Right.
We would show, and through a series of trial and error, we've gotten better and better.
Yeah. So I'm super excited to get to the demo. So this is our last question, but what can our viewers expect to see from today's demo? What are they going to learn? What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to be taking you guys kind of through a ranch trail course. I think ranch trail is fundamentally more fun, and you know, quite frankly, ranch riding, it's fun when you compete in it, but watching it, it's not nearly as fun as watching
Hmm.
these obstacles and the little blunders that can happen here and there. But I'm going to try to just give a clear picture and just an overview, a real crash course of what ranch riding is, what we're trying to look for, what the judges would want to see, what
Hmm.
you want to work on with your horse, and kind of put it into a way where you can go home and work on it. The beauty of ranch riding is you don't need amazing ground, you don't need this super groomed arena, you don't need all these perfect little things. You can go out on the trails and work with ranch riding. So it's a really neat thing you can do anywhere, anytime, any place, and I want to try to shed light on that.
Awesome. Let's dive in.
Perfect. So ranch riding, you think of the ranch riding and ranch trail. I always try to think of them as job interviews for the judge to work on their ranch. So I don't want to go super slow that I'm never going to get anywhere. And likewise, I don't want to be rushing, looking like a barrel brat. I want to try to go at a reasonable pace. So for example, the bridge here, I'm going to let my horse walk with some pace. We're going somewhere. We're not dilly-dallying, and the horse is taking proper steps, and the top line is very straight. We want a very ideally straight right here, where the horse is comfortable, they're moving nicely, the head is somewhat in, but it's not over-collected. And we want to really just see that that horse is centered and moving, and it's just not in my way. It's not a problem. Like, I'm barely doing anything here. You know, a big part of ranch riding, I think, is the poles. We'll see if we can do them real good here. She hit one, that's perfectly fine. The poles, we want to see that our horses go over them. Oh, so right here I did a little correction to stop her before those poles. And what that's going to do is teach her, hey, you got to look down and actually, you know, mind where you're stepping. See, that time she minded where she stepped and she just went right over him, glided right over him. There, that's telling the judge, or let's say the ranch owner, that my horse can get over logs if I'm trying to get to a cow or try to get to a certain destination, and she's not going to be a problem. She's not going to be a hindrance to what I'm doing. And we have a couple fun obstacles like a spin box. I've always liked them, but I always found them quite difficult, to be honest. Big tip for the spin box: if you walk in and kind of spiral, that tends to help you. Like walking in right in the middle, almost always I'll end up super close here. But if you walk in from the side a little bit and kind of spiral into your spin, see, I'm walking more to my left, that sets my pivot foot right about in the middle, and I can complete this good every time. Again, a huge thing with ranch riding is, you know, that horse needs to be functional on a ranch. How good is that horse as a tool? Horses on ranch are tools, they're not just horses. We have things like a backup, hope. And every time we pick up on the horse, we want to say that they give their head to us. So right now I'm going to kind of bump it inward. Say, hey, come on, no, you need to give me your head. So if we need to go and try to catch a wild calf that's running away, you know, we got our horse, their horse's head is in the air. That's not going to be very effective. Their head has to be in so we can guide them and move them around nice and limber. Now, backups tend to be a fun little one we'll do. And the whole thing with ranch riding is trying to keep consistency, cadence, a little bit of tempo. You know, imagine those feet are like a metronome. So I'm trying my damnedest to stay straight, trying not to disrupt that tempo so much, within reason, of course, because I have to bend in that backup. I'm not going to hit that at mock chicken. But the whole idea here is to just really show, hey, Mr. Boss Man, barn manager, look at how effective my horse is backing up. Something that's fun about ranch riding is how realistic it is. Like, you know, I'll go on trail and I'll find little logs and I'll just come right up to them, side pass right over them. And we want to see that the horse side passes with some cadence, side passes. Ideally, again, we're trying to go somewhere, right? We're trying to finish a job. She's not crossing over amazing, so we'll just school her a little bit after this. Pro tip, if you're having trouble in the side pass or the backup, you can continue to side pass or continue to back up way longer than you would otherwise, and it'll really help your horses. Other obstacles include a carry obstacle, right? So you'd have to kind of bend down and carry whatever it is and show that your horse can now ride one-handed if you're in a hackamore snaffle. Trot a little bit of a circle and be able to put it back here. So like right there when she stopped and she was a little bit forward, that shows the judge my horse isn't accurate, she's wasting my time because I have to sit here and kind of dilly-dally to get back here. We want to try to promote accuracy and efficiency, show that I can stop here and get that and pick it up and drop it. So if we do try that again, let's see if we can stop in a better position. Ho. This is far better. I can reach down more comfortably, I can get it, and I can complete my obstacle. What's neat about ranch horses is, you know, we're not exactly judging people. The judges aren't judging you. They don't necessarily care how pretty of a rider you are. We're trying to judge the horse. And so like with a roping obstacle, for example, we want to judge how well this horse puts me in a position to rope. Does she get in my way? Does she do this? Does she move in my way? Is she annoying? Is she a nuisance? Or does she just walk right up to it? Oh, and sit there calmly so that I can rope this barrel. Things like drags. Drags are neat because you may want to show just a little bit of rope handling, but you want to see that your horse can maneuver and comfortably drag something and manage it and still move around nicely and not get all high energy with it. Again, we're trying to think how effective this horse is going to be on a ranch. Then with the drags, you know, you want to try to like go somewhere. Imagine that barrel is actually a calf and it's kicking and you're trying to take it to the fire for a branding. You don't want to be the idiot that lets go of that calf because you're walking too slow. You actually want to move and take it somewhere. And probably the biggest common denominator with all of this is the whole cadence thing, but it's also the transitions. Ranch riding is really big on the transitions. Being able to walk, easy, Papa. There we go. Being able to walk, ideally with an undisturbed cadence, and then just suddenly, that's hilarious. I think we could cut that part out. Being able to walk and then suddenly just jump into a lope. And she's getting a little bit hot here. That's okay. We'll just bump her head down. Come on, listen to me, Mama. And then we can cue downward. I don't know what it is, but she's scared of something here. We could try to cue downward to trot. And we want to try to show that our horse can transition seamlessly with those vocal cues. We also want to be able to manually bring them down and get them to back off their bridle and really just come to. You know, if you're roping something, you got to go rope it, and then suddenly you just got to slow down and pull your slack. You need to show that your horse is effective and is a nice, effective tool to use in all of that. That's just kind of a real crash course on ranch riding and what it is, what we're trying to promote and all that. Thank you.
Thank you for that amazing demo. I'm sure our viewers enjoyed it as much as we did, but make sure you guys come back in a couple of minutes as we're going to be going live and answering a live Q&A with Johnny. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section of this video or comment them live on our next video. We'll see you soon.